Getting started. I'm very happy to be here. My name is Michael D'Aloia. I'm the Senior Executive for Technology Development for the City of Cleveland, and I'll blame the city's technology and why we're so late today. Today we're going to be talking about investing in the creative class. In the last 2.5 years, it's been my charge to bring as many technology companies and as many people involved in the creative class into the City of Cleveland. And what I think we're going to do today, I think, one, you'll be surprised at how much we've accomplished in a short period of time, and that you should consider Cleveland as your base of operations and your home. Today we're going to accomplish 3 things. So first, I'm going to demonstrate to you how deep the technology sector is in Northeast Ohio, including Cleveland, Ohio, the strategy that the city has employed, and the third thing being we're going to show you all the buzz that we've created in the last 2.5 years. In a very recent study, we found out there are 2,800 technology companies in Northeast Ohio. And to give you an indication of the power of that number, that 2,800 is more than the number of technology companies in Reston, Texas, or Reston, Virginia, more than Austin, Texas, more than a Research Triangle. My only concern is they're very geographically dispersed, but nonetheless, we've got a base of 2,800 tech companies in Northeast Ohio. Employs almost 8% of the total employable population in Northeast Ohio. And in a recent statistic by Nortech, we have 11,000 jobs in Northeast Ohio unfilled at this point in time in the technology trades, 5,000 of which are in Cuyahoga County. It's the second fastest growing industry segment in Northeast Ohio, right behind healthcare. You've got a really interesting convergence between those two, and we'll get to that in a minute. But look at all the deep knowledge that we have, or rather, great. Again, city technology. I don't think this thing's been used in a few years. But with that said, deep knowledge in software development, medical devices, biotech, MEMS, fuel cells, search engine optimization, satellite system. Who knew that the second largest satellite compression software company in the world, and that is indeed a niche, is right on Prospect Avenue, where a bunch of NASA engineers left a few years ago. And there's very few satellites that go up today that don't have their satellite compression software in it. Disaster recovery and disaster management and managed security, the last bullet point there. This is a very interesting bullet point. When you walk down Euclid Avenue, or rather the next time that you're able to walk down Euclid Avenue, what you'll find is that the largest fiber pipe between New York and Chicago is underneath Euclid Avenue. And off of that fiber pipe, I've got multiple data centers, multiple network operating centers, multiple VoIP providers, multiple network security providers, all within a 4-block area. And so we've been using that infrastructure as an incentive for software companies, web development companies to move downtown. Do I have some concerns? Well, of course we do have concerns. We don't have a Microsoft or a Dell to really be the cement, that anchor that we have. We're geographically dispersed over multiple county area. I would put up our management and technical talent against anybody in the world. I really would. Problem is we just don't have enough of it. I mean, very evident by we're 11,000 people short. Continuum of capital. Prior to joining the city, I was a CFO of a tech company right on Euclid Avenue, one of those data centers that I mentioned before. We raised in the range of $3.5 million from private equity sources. There wasn't a bank in town that would give me a line of credit for my day-to-day operations. So we had to go to the West Coast to get that from us, Silicon Valley Bank and Cisco Capital, which talks about the short-term liquidity. There's just not enough liquidity in the marketplace in terms of financial liquidity to really jumpstart the account. This particular industry segment. However, since the Third Frontier was created in 2002, the City of Cleveland's been the largest recipient of those dollars to the tune of just a shade under $300 million, mostly into the research environments of Case, the clinic, and university hospitals. But also, since 1997, for the last 10 years, there have been a number of private equity funds that have raised in the tune of $125 million, again, devoted to Northeast Ohio and devoted to technology. Now, I don't know what exactly is going to happen with that $425 million, but you'd like to think that something great is going to occur. I just don't know what that's going to be yet. And yet we're still, according to a Nortech study, $1 billion short. And just the companies we have, that 2,800 companies, there's 11,000 people we're short, we're still short $1 billion to really jumpstart this technology economy. So what's the vision? Mayor Jackson recently released his economic development plan for the city and his 2020 vision. And bullet point number one, and this was a huge debate internally, I can assure you, was that the mayor wants the city to be a leader in technology and biotechnology by 2020. Historically, we would have fought with that issue of we're a manufacturing town and we will forever be a manufacturing town. But again, the last 2.5 years, we've moved 32 tech companies into the city. I'm not quite aware of 32 manufacturing companies moving into the city. So there's been a dramatic mind change at City Hall about what we can do. 2, we're going to aggregate as much financial capital and human capital into the Cleveland marketplace, to the point where the city, I help manage an economic development fund for the city, and we've deployed $5 million into the technology trades and projects. And we're also going to create a spectrum of entrepreneurial education from grade school to grad school, to the point where in the next few weeks we're actually convening a meeting between the Cleveland Municipal School Board, Cuyahoga County, City of Cleveland. We're talking about implementing a certification education program from K through 8 and 9 through 12. So when you walk out of the Cleveland Municipal Schools at some point in time, you'll have a series of technology certifications. You can either go to school or you can jump out into the employment marketplace. So you'll have that choice. And the fact that everyone's agreed to this meeting is a pretty monumental step. These are just some of the companies in the last 2.5 years that we have moved in. And it's 32 companies. It's a shade under 900 new jobs. They're growing by 20, 25% a year. It's been a really exciting time to see this happen and occur in the city. So when we collect all the creative class into the city, where the hell are we going to put everybody? And I'm sure you're quite aware that one thing that I do have in Cleveland, Ohio, is a lot of freaking space. And if you need space, we can find the space for you. But the first thing, and this was the catalyst for technology in downtown Cleveland. Amazingly, it wasn't that fiber pipe that we have underneath it, but an old building called, this was actually the old Stouffer's headquarters, Stouffer's Foods headquarters right on Euclid Avenue. It's now the Idea Center. You've got WCPN, WVIZ in the first 2 floors, 5 technology companies above it. It's got a data center. This alone, I mean, I'll be honest with you, when I started my job, all these tech companies in my portfolio, I was asking, where can we find the space? And there wasn't one damn landlord in the city that would let me bring these tech companies in. Now, these are dot bombs, the technology crash in the marketplace. And I got to say, Playhouse Square was the only landlord that would let me bring tech companies in, to the point where I had to convince them, just give me a floor, man, 1 floor. What's a floor to you? I can fill it. Well, 2.5 floors later, we're moving into the Bulkley building. We've established the E-Tech Hatchery, which I'll show you in a minute. We're about to launch the Hannah Tech Hotel. We've got Tyler Elevator going on, new buildings on West 9th and the Cleveland Technology Center, all in 2.5 years. So there is, in fact, a demand. If you're a startup company, you want to test out an idea or a business plan, E-Tech Hatchery, 600 square feet, it's $300 a month. Includes your furniture, your fixtures, your connectivity. We even have a few older computers in there. All your level 1 support, your email, servers, it's all included in that base price. It's a 6-month contract, and we're going to ask you to graduate at some point in time, hopefully within that 6 months. And to date, we've had Portfolio Magazine Online, Cleveland365.com, and City Prowl all be a part of the E-Tech Hatchery. We've actually rebranded the hatchery, so if you walk on Euclid and 13th, you'll see the new signs. There's also a crown on top of the building. We're going to put in hopefully some new digital signage on the crown in the next few weeks. Cleveland Technology Center. This is for the large application user, either through a Web 2.0 application, network security application, where you'll be doing load testing on the internet. This building actually exists in a very dilapidated state on East 12th, between East 12th and East 13th on Rockwell Avenue. And if you go down there today, you'll see a lot of development of the Avenue District, which is a $250 million development of housing around this building. It's actually a collection of 4 buildings. And we all agree it's the ugliest collection of 4 buildings on the planet. It really looks horrible. So what we're going to do is we're going to tear down the first building, redo the other 3, and it'll be a large-scale application center. So if you're looking for high power, this building will never, it'll never go down. There's 9 megawatts of electricity going through it, 4 major fiber carriers connected into the building in its current configuration. We're just going to add on this new building. And this is going to be a $45 million development in conjunction with the Avenue District. Again, live, work, and play. I want you downtown, but I want you to live downtown, I want you to work downtown, and I want you to play downtown. And this is going to help us do that. For all the gaming enthusiasts in town, after doing some research at CASE and the Cleveland Institute of Art, we found out that there's a gaming minor, a gaming theory minor in that university. And 75% of those graduates were going out to other software or gaming companies outside the city, which is just inexcusable. And you might have heard of two of them. One is Microsoft, the other one is EA Games. So we're planning this. This is a $5 million development called the Game Hub, 16,000 square foot facility. It has, I don't know if you can see it in the back, but in the very back you'll see a two-tiered incubator. And the rest of the system, every platform that you could play, Wii, PlayStation 3, the Xbox, they'll all be resident in the entertainment component, which is in the front. And in the back, again, very inexpensive space. Every software tool needed for gaming will be at your disposal. You create the games. You need to beta test the games. You can test them up in the front. We're hoping to get national gaming tournaments. It's taken me a year and a half, and we just got a developer to the table last week, and I'm hoping that this breaks and we'll start putting in. The city has agreed to put $500,000 into this $5 million project. The next thing is a sister concept that the city created, which is called the Ultra Hip Music Lounge. And as you can see, some very interesting architectural elements of videos being displayed on the walls. There's a huge guitar carved out of the ceiling that matches a bar underneath it. And you'll see a lot of these stations in the foreground. There's actually a stage in the back, and here's the idea. The concept is there's a lot of musicians who are part of the creative class. They may be technologists, maybe not, but the point is you have a band, come in and play 3 songs or 5. Just secure the stage time, and it's yours. It's recorded digitally in an audio and video format. I may miss you play, but 2 weeks later I come in, I see what you did, and I can download it for 99 cents for the audio, $1.99 for the video. And we share in that the music lounge and the artist would then share in those revenue proceeds. Stage, a digital studio, and again, that live, work, and play environment. So I'm hoping within the next 12 to 14 months we'll have both of these concepts at least started. We've got a building identified on Superior. We think this could be a huge destination for people. Other things to contemplate. Hannah Tech Hotel. We're launching this in the spring of 2007. Looks like it'll be done in late May. Again, these are work pods, 500 to 1,500 square feet. Everything's included, your furniture, your telephone system, your fax, your copier. All you have to do is really just show up and start working on your new company. And it's between $1.25 to $1.50 a square foot each month, 1-year leases. One of the problems we've had is we had a lot of great number of startups happening in Cleveland. Didn't have any place to put them, and when we did find a place, it was usually a 3 to 5 year lease, and if you're a startup, you certainly don't want that type of liability. So here's a venue for a 1-year lease. Superior Innovation Center will be very similar in construct with the exception of these are typically patents, medical devices, biotechnology, and we're going to put it at 815 Superior. Tyler Elevator. I'm not sure if you know where Tyler Elevator, that complex would be, but it's on 36 in Superior. It's a 42-building complex that stretches 2 city blocks. Gorgeous architecture. And Digino, which was a software development company out of Beechwood, moved into that facility. And this is a great story about Cleveland, right? They doubled their space and lowered their operating costs by 10% by moving into Tyler Elevator. And once they moved into Tyler Elevator, we announced a $25 million development of the first 2 buildings in that complex. Just this week, we signed a life sciences company to take the 7th floor. So again, you're going to see a lot more attraction around this Tyler Elevator complex. We're talking with Forest City about a research peninsula, biotech, pharmaceuticals. There'll be a 5-building biotech campus on the Scranton Road Peninsula, which is right across the river from Tower City. We're also planning 200 to 300 homes in that Scranton Peninsula, so you could literally live, work, and play and do your research on Scranton Peninsula. And there's some discussions of a nanotech park in Midtown.